Okay, now Garen, the last game of the weekend, last game of round one, why don't you take us through that?
Right, that took place in Nelspruit. Had the Pumas back in Currie Cup rugby taking on the Free State Cheetahs, and I actually got this one wrong. I thought the Cheetahs would be too strong for the Pumas. I think Rob correctly predicted the upset, as I like to call it, and the Pumas did win. You know, I'm still not convinced the Pumas are a fantastic side. I thought the Cheetahs were absolutely hopeless, and I'm seriously worried for them in this year's Currie Cup. They were awful in Super Rugby. It seems everyone has left Bloemfontein. They've lost so many players. I've actually lost count of how many they have lost and who they've got left. But I always worry about teams that start off really well, score the first try, and then finish really well, and then go to sleep for the middle sort of 60 minutes. It's not a great sign of a team that take their foot off the pedal and then just they run out of time and can't play catch up. So they ended up losing by 7 points. They did pick up a bonus point, and that was literally the least or what they deserved out of that match. The Pumas have got nobody really of any note. Difficult to tell anyone who's actually on their team sheet who they are and where they've come from. But Jimmy Stonehouse doing great things at the Pumas. I think they'll be tough to beat at home. I can't see them winning any away games, to be quite honest with you. But the Cheetahs, for their part, they're going to struggle this year. I don't see them making the playoffs. It's back to the drawing board. I don't know how they turn it around in Bloemfontein. Obviously not the place to be at the moment, it seems, for players. Everyone's leaving, nobody's arriving. So long season ahead for the Free State Cheetahs for sure.
Well, Rob, Garen said you correctly predicted the upset. What was your take on the game?
Yes, it was a little bit iffy at times, but the Pumas did eventually pull it through. I'd gone for them simply because I do think that at home they will present quite an obstacle. I'm not sure if they'll be quite strong enough, even at home, Garen, to beat the sort of test unions, if you like. But the Cheetahs, of course, are now one of the sort of declining sort of test unions, if you like. As Garen said, a big offload of players, and you could almost sense that they had to sort of raid the sort of Bloemfontein club ranks to bolster that side, and that clearly there isn't that an enormous amount of depth in the club structures in Bloemfontein, and they've got some problems. They've got a few. I think they've got a few front row issues. There are some props missing at the moment. Once they get, I think both Oosthuizens back in the front row, they'll be a little bit less susceptible up front. But a fantastic result, nevertheless, for the Pumas, who will probably start gaining crowds. Mbombela Stadium is a difficult place to go and play, and they like being based in Nelspruit these days. They've got getting a sort of a slightly increased following, and if they keep on winning, they will keep bringing crowds in and make it even harder for visiting teams to do well there. But I don't think they'll be sort of a top half side. I think they might just be the sort of team that is scrapping at the bottom, but maybe competing with the Cheetahs, who they've just beaten, not to be in that bottom spot come the end of the season.
All right, well, 4 very exciting games for round one. We look forward to round 2. Garen, anyone who was at the games this weekend, how can they share their photos with you?
Sure. If you were at any of the matches this weekend, please send your pictures through to mysport@sport24.co.za. We'd love to include them in our gallery.